If your goal is building muscle, there are hundreds of compounds people recommend. Some deserve the attention, but many don't. Today, I'm ranking the 5 peptides I would actually use if building muscle were my primary goal based on the mechanisms that actually matter. And don't be shocked, because there's one compound that almost everyone expects to see on this list, but it didn't make the cut. And I'll explain exactly why. And make sure you stay until the end, because I also want to introduce you to a novel muscle optimization tool that almost nobody in the mainstream space is talking about yet. Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm Kareem Haskett, founder of Kareem Haskett Performance and Longevity Consultant and a certified biohacking coach. On this channel, we separate science from hype, helping you understand peptides, bioactive supplements, performance optimization, longevity, and biology beyond how these pathways actually operate. As always, this video is for educational purposes only and should never be considered medical advice. Now, let's get into my top 5 peptides for muscle growth. At number 5 is BPC-157. This is one that always surprises people. Most people don't consider BPC-157 a muscle-building peptide. It does not stimulate growth hormone. It does not increase IGF-1. It does not directly upregulate muscle protein synthesis. So why is it on this list? Because true hypertrophy only happens when you can consistently execute progressive overload. The biggest threat to long-term muscle growth isn't training harder, it's losing the ability to train consistently. Nagging elbows, tendonitis in the shoulders, patella stress, the microtraumas that slowly erode your training quality over time. BPC-157 works through focal angiogenesis and modulation of growth factor expression to accelerate soft tissue and tendon repair. It isn't building a contractile tissue, it's protecting the structural integrity of the system that allows you to build it. Coming in at number 4 is Tesamorelin. Tesamorelin is a synthetic growth hormone releasing hormone analog. Instead of introducing exogenous hormones that shut down your own production, it binds to GHRH receptors on the pituitary to stimulate a natural pulsatile release of growth hormone. Because it stimulates your own physiology rather than replacing it, its effect remains tied to your endogenous growth hormone system. Its structural benefits extend far beyond muscle. Improved body composition, visceral adipose reduction, enhanced sleep architecture, and optimized metabolic signaling. It isn't the most aggressive direct hypertrophy agent on this market, but it is an elite foundation for a longevity-driven protocol. At number 3, we have the classic synergistic stack, CJC-1295 paired with Ipamorelin. I group these together because they operate through dual receptor activation. CJC-1295 acts via the GHRH pathway to sustain a prolonged release curve. Ipamorelin acts as a selective ghrelin receptor agonist, triggering an independent, robust growth hormone pulse without significantly spiking cortisol or prolactin. The result is amplified endogenous growth hormone pulsatility while still relying on your body's own regulatory mechanisms. Deeper slow-wave sleep, enhanced tissue recovery, better nitrogen retention overnight. Those mechanisms don't construct muscle in a vacuum. They optimize the systemic environment required to recover from heavy training. Now we step directly into explicit anabolic signaling with my number 2 choice, IGF-1 LR3. Unlike secretagogues that stimulate the pituitary, IGF-1 LR3 bypasses the upstream steps and acts directly on peripheral tissue receptors. Insulin-like growth factor 1 is a primary driver of muscle protein synthesis via the mTOR pathway. It stimulates satellite cell activation, meaning it helps recruit and fuse new myonuclei to existing muscle fibers, which plays an important role in long-term hypertrophy potential. It also drives localized tissue remodeling and nutrient partitioning. Because it is a potent and long-acting analog, dosing protocols, timing, and nutritional support around administration are critical. When you want to drive direct cellular growth, this is one of the most powerful tools available. And finally, my top choice for long-term muscle growth is exogenous human growth hormone. Not because it yields rapid water weight or immediate short-term scale spikes, and not because it's a sudden reckless anabolic sledgehammer, but because no other compound on this list influences the systemic matrix required for decade-long muscle retention. HGH coordinates collagen synthesis, it strengthens connective tissue networks, fascia, and joint capsules. It optimizes fat metabolism, shifting substrate utilization. It drives cellular repair and increases hepatic production of systemic IGF-1. And unlike compounds that primarily target muscle tissue, HGH improves the infrastructure that allows muscle to continue growing year after year. When you look at hypertrophy across a multi-year timeline instead of a 12-week cycle, protecting the health of your joints, tendons, and metabolic machinery is everything. For my protocol, HGH is the architectural foundation. Everything else is built on top of it. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Where is MK677? Well, I could take the easy way out and say MK67 isn't actually a peptide. It's a small molecule orally active ghrelin receptor agonist. But because MK677 is constantly discussed alongside growth hormone peptides, and people routinely lump it into the peptide category, I'm not going to dodge the question on a technicality. So let's address it anyway. There is no doubt that MK677 works. It is an orally active ghrelin receptor agonist. It reliably elevates growth hormone and IGF-1, and clinical data shows it can increase lean body mass. So why did I leave it off my top 5? Because my rankings aren't based strictly on what a compound can elevate on a lab sheet. They are based on clinical control, predictability, and overall protocol flexibility. Because MK677 is an oral with a long half-life, its sustained activation of the ghrelin receptor frequently drives unmanageable hunger responses, persistent extracellular water retention, and in some users, notable reductions in insulin sensitivity over time. Now, let's be objective. HGH, IGF-1 LR3, and secretagogues can all alter insulin dynamics or cause fluid shifts if mismanaged. The difference isn't that MK677 is uniquely toxic. The difference is pharmacological control. With injectable precision, I can govern dose, timing, half-life clearance, and total biological exposure with much greater precision. With an oral compound with a long duration of action, you lose some of that fine-tuned control. That's why MK677 didn't make the list. I got a bonus for you though. There's a muscle optimization product you probably never heard of. I want to introduce you to an oral supplement that is breaking entirely new ground. It's called FIT, F-I-T. FIT isn't an injectable peptide. And instead of manipulating the growth hormone axis, FIT approaches muscle adaptation through recovery biology and cellular energetics. It is an advanced oral formulation built around two distinct scientifically backed pathways. The first is PeptiStrong, a targeted bioactive peptide derived from fava bean protein. Human clinical trials show it significantly accelerates strength recovery after heavy mechanical stress, combats exercise-induced fatigue, and downregulates myostatin, one of the body's primary genetic brakes on muscle growth. The second component is Nicotinamide Riboside, or NR, a premier precursor of cellular NAD+ metabolism. Instead of manipulating growth hormone pathways, FIT attacks performance from the cellular level, combining targeted signaling peptides with mitochondrial energy support. It is an entirely different vector for adaptation, and it's one of the most exciting developments of non-hormonal optimization right now. So before we close out, I want to leave you with one core truth. The most anabolic stimulus you will ever generate isn't inside a valve. Heavy training creates the signal. Nutrition supplies the building blocks. Recovery determines the adaptation. Peptides don't replace those fundamentals. They amplify them. That is how these tools should be deployed. And if you found value in this breakdown, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. I want to hear from you down below. Which peptide on this list surprised you the most? And where do you stand on the MK677 debate? Let me know in the comments. If you want to explore pharmaceutical grade peptides, advanced research compounds, and bioactive peptides like the fit product mentioned above, head over to KareemOptimized.com. Link is in the description. There, you can also request a free personalized performance protocol tailored to your specific goals. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional.